Today I'm going to tell you about international organizations. So let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and I'm here to help you understand history just a little bit better. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video to hear about the history of the symbol of the Red Cross. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about what an international organization is. The definition is probably a good place to start. Essentially, these are groups formed by multiple countries who send diplomats, or representatives, to meet and try to work out issues. There are two types of groups that I'm going to focus on. Those are governmental organizations and non-governmental organizations. I think the names do a good job, so you can figure out the differences between them, but let's look closer. Governmental organizations are formed to address international issues. These are run by the governments of the member countries and are pretty exclusive. Members must vote in new countries that wish to join. But once you're in, you have to follow the rules of the group or your country could be kicked out. This does not mean you have to always agree with the decisions being made, but you do get to have your country's voice heard. Some examples of governmental organizations are the United Nations, NATO, the World Trade Organization, and the World Health Organization. Oh, on top of that, the Peace Corps, but we'll get to that. The UN was founded just after World War II in 1945. Their goal is to keep peace between countries. They also try to protect human rights and fight poverty in developing nations. This is the largest of the international groups. There are subgroups within the UN. One you should know about is the World Health Organization. They are focused on improving health for all people. This group is responsible for doing away with smallpox and polio on a global scale. Another subgroup you should know about is the Security Council. And although there are 15 members, only 5 are permanent. These are the USA, Russia, United Kingdom, France, and China. These 5 have veto power over the other 10 members who change every 2 years. These countries have a lot of power when deciding what the UN will do when involving itself in international conflicts. These 5 do not always have to agree. A good example would be what happened in Syria last year, with Russia and China not agreeing with the decision made by the US, UK, and France in how to handle the hostilities. Speaking of hostilities, the next group I want to talk about is NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This is a group of 28 nations in North America and Europe who have pledged to support and protect one another in times of war. Then there is the World Trade Organization, which is focused on advancing the economies of the 150 member countries. Their end goal is free trade between each and have received criticism for being single-minded and not worried about the environment at the cost of trade. The last governmental organization I want to bring up is the Peace Corps. It was started in the 1960s after JFK challenged students to make a difference for peace in the world. And although it is a relatively small group of volunteers, they still make a difference in developing countries. Changing gears to non-governmental organizations, these are the ones formed to address international issues, but there's a difference. And that's that NGOs are not controlled by an individual country. They are started by private citizens. This gives these organizations more freedom to move into countries because there are no political ties. For example, the International Red Cross can help casualties from both sides of a conflict because they are neutral. In fact, to extend their reach, they have created the Red Crescent to ensure they will be welcome in majority Muslim nations. Other examples of NGOs are Amnesty International, Doctors Without Borders, and Oxfam International. These all work to make the world a better place by dealing with human rights, healthcare, and disaster relief. Now, for the symbol of the Red Cross. White background, red cross. Pretty simple, but did you know that this is the inverse, or opposite, of the Swiss flag? Now headquartered in Switzerland, it is fitting to use this design because Switzerland is historically a neutral country, so the symbol has allowed access to battlefields and countries. Tell you what, leave a comment below telling me what you think of the story behind the creation of the symbol of the Red Cross. While you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to check out my other videos, like the ones you see to the side over here. I have other history videos and civics videos, as well as videos shot in 360, so check them out. I know you'll like them. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.